All right, everybody, I'm coming back. We're back with episode 2 of the Heal Me podcast. I am Ace, your host. I want to go ahead and title this one The Trauma. I was going to call it like childhood trauma, but trauma can basically stem from even adulthood right now um, to childhood, from childhood to adulthood. Um, and any type of trauma that we've experienced, I think it affects us every day today, and we don't even know it. But yeah, let me start off with my story. It starts out, I could talk about like friendships, relationships with family, relationships, romantic relationships with females. Um, I think I'd like to start out with the friendships, because I'm kind of going through a lot right now with my teenage daughter. She's jumping into her teenage years, and like she's real bad with like leaving behind friends, and I can't relate to that because when it comes to like friends, like I never really had no friends. I don't know. Like I was so used to being by myself because as a child, I was overweight, and leading into my teenage years, I was still overweight. So it's kind of like I guess you could say I was like that ugly friend, or I didn't get a lot of girls. So like even when it comes to girls, like I don't know how I'm not like no player, nothing, because I didn't know none of that. I didn't learn any of that type of behavior. But when I was a child, I'd say like 12. Yeah, around 12. This is where it starts to get heavy, I think, for everybody. Because now that I put it together, even my daughter, she's 12 and she's kind of going through it. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure she's liking boys now. And she's got friends that are trying to influence her. And it was the same with me. Even when I was 12, I discovered the music, what I'm heavily involved in now. And I wasn't the best. It was a group of three of us, four to be exact. But I wasn't the best. I wasn't good at it. Definitely not as good as I am now. And I guess that's where it kind of stems today, because I really doubt myself, even today, putting out songs and trying to create. But there's always that doubt because of the trauma that I experienced, and I wasn't that good at it, but I kept on, and then my friends would like let it be known that I wasn't good. And so like I would tell myself that I needed to change and I needed to rap like them. And I think I even one time I went into the studio and I did a flow. I recorded this flow, and one of the guys was like, "Man, you biting off my style." And I was like, "What?" He goes, "Yeah." And then we played a song, and I guess he had said along the same lines as me. And he's all, "But that's cool, man. Do you?" And I was like, "Nah, man, scratch that. Take it out." You know what I mean? I don't want to even be on the song no more. But right there, you know what I'm saying? Like, that was me not being myself. And how did it turn out for me? Because I wanted to change and be like them. It didn't turn out good. And so I went back to doing my regular style, and it wasn't very good, And at one time, one of the members was like, "Man, that guy sucks." I didn't feel no type of way about it, but it was true. But I stayed. I stayed in this rap group for so long, and I ended up leaving, and I made my own group with me and another artist, and then we had a falling out too. We had kind of started disrespecting a lot of local artists, and I guess one came along that my guy knew, and he ended up joining his rap group and then started dissing me. So you see how the trauma of friends, or the trauma with letting people near me, because as soon as I get close, and I'm still cool with some of these guys because I grew up with them. We were friends before the music, but I have to look at it now. It's like they weren't for me. They're not my people because they're not in my life today. And so even today, like I'm real standoffish when I meet people. And I guess I don't know if I should be that way. I'm cool with everybody though. Like I'm cool until I start to catch your vibe. I gotta feel your energy and then we can be cool after that. And then I'll joke around with you. But if it's like, say like back when I was overweight and like I didn't know you and you're already making like fat jokes, it's like, bro, I don't know you. Like, why you coming at me like that? You know what I'm saying? And there would be some people that would come at me like that, and then right off the bat, we're not gonna get along, man. You know? But that trauma is some of the major traumas that I experienced with having friends. But I had to see it from the beginning that they really weren't for me, you know, because they could have helped me. You know, if you're my friend, I think one of them was cool. You know what I'm saying? He was like, nah, he go hard. He go hard. You got to listen to what he's saying. Listen to what he's saying. And that's how I take it today still. Like, I guess that trauma's in me. Like, I've had people come up and tell me, like, I don't really fuck with your music, but you got a big following, and that's why I fuck with you. So it just sounds to me like you just coat riding now. You just using me, and we ain't cool. You know, I'll keep you at a distance, you know, or if I find out someone that's trying to join my group or be close to me and you're asking about, well, who's Ace's girl? Who is that girl? That don't sound like someone that's loyal to me. But I do gotta understand, like, these behaviors are not like embedded in us. These are behaviors that we've learned. So when you come to Blue Lace and you come around Ace and you come around all of us, like, it's loyalty. We brothers. We don't do that type of stuff to each other. And that's what Blue Lace has always been built on. There was a time when I went against it and it killed me. And I'll get into that here soon. But there's a lot of people like, well, why can't I be with y'all? Why can't I do this? Because you got a track record, man. You ain't loyal. And that's what we're built off of. I only have a few members in Blue Lace and they always come and tell me everything. And it ain't about and I've told them too. Now that I think about it, yeah. It's like, hey man, you need to get your girl. I didn't feed into it, nothing like that, man. And it's not that girl's fault. This is just something that she's learned. You know, and that's what I've come to the conclusion of. And I like coming to the realization of things because I don't think everybody's bad. I don't think, because we weren't born this way. We were just taught these things. Like I could come in and like, because I've done it now that I put it together, and that's why I'm choosing to change. Like things that have been done to me, I've done them to other people. I've gone into new relationships and I've done what's been done to me and it don't feel good. Why you doing it then? That's what I had to tell myself. You need to change, man. Who are you? Now you just being that person. Now you're just showing this new person what you've taught, what you were taught, and now you're messing them up mentally, and that's not okay. But yeah, like with Blue Lace, man, you know, I had to look back on it, and it's like, yeah, I wasn't accepted into those groups, or I wasn't accepted as the type of artist that I am, just being myself, and that's the main part. I was just being myself behind the mic, and I wasn't accepted. And I tried to change. I tried to be like them, and it didn't work out. So I left. And for years, I've been by myself. I barely brought in Gian Flametta, I'd say about last year or the year before that, because he's been loyal. He had a prospect for a while. You know, he had to pay for studio time. He had to pay for music videos. But he earned his way, and he's dedicated. You know, we've gone on to win awards. He's been accepted for Red Wine, and his music video was accepted into the X Indie Films, I think last year in October. It was selected and placed like official selection where they play it in the music, they play it in the film festival. So millions of people in the United Kingdom know GM Flametta, and it's all based off of his loyalty. And of course his what is it? His talent. He's talented. And I've had people come and tell me that he's no good. I really don't like his music. But to me, I hear it. He's got it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like he's just being himself. He had to find himself. He has different types of songs when he first came out. And he found himself now with the emo rap. And now he's moving. Same with me. I could go on and rap like somebody that I looked up to. But how far will I go if I'm not being myself? I'm just being myself. I've gone to win 7th place in the Houston Music Video Awards for The Rain. Over 700 entries, and I made top 10. That means something to me. I've won like I think 3 awards off of my short film, The Worst. Best lead actor, that's me. Best crime short, I wrote the short. I wrote it. And it's all based off of a song I wrote, being myself. But if I had chosen to let the discouragement that came along with being rejected or telling me that I was no good, would I have reached those achievements? Would GM be reaching his achievements if he was ever to fall victim to the criticism of others? I think we're all very talented. I think we all bring something to the table, but along the way of chasing those dreams, either friends, family, or loved ones, people that we let close to us, have torn us down and caused that trauma, and we tell ourselves that we're no good. And maybe those people come along and they show us their ways, their miserable ways. And we learn those ways, those behaviors, and we become them. I didn't drink alcohol for 27 years. But I went against the grain of myself. I went against my beliefs. And I picked up drinking for 4 years consecutively, year after year, day after day. I was getting wasted because I went against myself and what I believe in. And I only have myself to blame. And I only blame myself. So then that's when I came to the conclusion, like, what are you drinking for? You did it. I had to tell myself, you did it. I couldn't blame anybody else for my actions but myself. And I choose to stop. Because it's not me. I do not go out and party. I've lived the life. But who was I before that? Because that was me. This is just a behavior that I discovered. This is just a lifestyle that I discovered. But who was I before that? Because that's who I am. But because of trauma and me feeling like I wasn't enough, or me doing things that I don't believe in, I found a new lifestyle and it destroyed me. I was destroyed. I'm damaged. And that's how I believe a lot of alcoholics, a lot of drug addicts, a lot of bad mothers, a lot of bad fathers, a lot of cheaters, a lot of snake people. These are just behaviors that they learned, not being themselves. Because even if you're a snitch, then you're not cut out. You're not cut out for the gangster lifestyle. So what are you doing trying to be a gangster when you know you're a snitch? You know you're going to tell if we get caught. Be yourself. You know what I'm saying? You know that shit ain't inside of you, so why you even attempting it? If you were being yourself, you wouldn't be in these situations that cause you to be damaged or cause you to lose yourself. If you're not a cheater, what are you cheating for? It's gonna mess you up mentally. You're not gonna know who you belong to, women and men. Cause I've been there. I've done the cheating. Because why? I thought it was cool. Or maybe it's always been done to me. So let me see what it's like. Nah, bro, you need to be yourself. You know what I'm saying? Be yourself. But I went ahead and I did it. And I lost myself completely for 4 years. So that's basically my background on like friendships. And now I think that's why I mean, but I think it's not that bad because like I can walk away from a friendship like that, but it's the relationships that get me. And I'm telling y'all some of my vices. So that's why, you know what I'm saying? Don't try and come in and try to use that against me. But I already I've already caught on and like I've discovered how to get away from all of it. And I know what's for me and what ain't no now, you know. But like my very first, I say, real relationship where I felt real, it goes back to 12 years old. I was 12 years old, man. And my family was involved in the church. So we was kind of like seeing a little bit of the Bible Belt. My mom was a secretary. My father was the lead usher, you know. And so me and my brother, because my little sister, she was still little. So she really didn't move around too much. Me and my brother, we were teenagers already. I was 12, you know what I'm saying? I'm jumping in. Yeah, that's right. I was 12. So they were like, oh, well, you're right there, right before 13. You can start hanging out with the youth. And the youth is a little bit more experienced than a 12-year-old. But yes, I was 12 and there was this female and she was 15. And as we all know, like getting into those teenage years were a little bit more advanced. You know, I was still in advanced. So yeah, she's 15 and she went to school with my brother and my aunts. And so she was always around, man. I thought she was cool. Um, but I liked her. And me being myself, I let it be known. You know, I would write her notes. I'd buy her gifts on Christmas. She lived like 4 or 5 blocks down from me. I would sneak out and I'd go see her at night. We wouldn't do nothing, you know, just some kissing, whatever. Um, but it's like I've always been drawn to music, you know. So I would make her CDs, kind of like mixtapes of R&B music, and I'd give them to her. And you know, I've been at her house, you know, while she was getting ready, and she play 'em. You know what I'm saying? It's cool. But you know, she was already sexually active. I didn't know nothing about that. So this little 12-year-old, I couldn't tell myself like, all right, she's already sexually active. She's not with the dude that she was sexually active with. Something happened in that relationship that they're not together no more. Either like infidelity, you know, cheating, maybe some abuse, or maybe they were just messing around. But either way, if she ain't taking the time to heal, that guy took something from her and she might be a little bit damaged. So I need to be careful. You know what I'm saying? But I was just 12. I didn't know. I was just being myself. And I really liked her. And long story short, she ended up cheating on me with my brother. I give my brother a lot of shit for that one. Cause it's funny now, you know what I mean? And yeah, I was hurt, but I didn't know. I didn't know nothing. But but it was easy to walk away. You know what I mean? It was easy for me to let her go because like there was no tie there. You know, there was no emotional like we weren't having sex. You know what I mean? So it's like I didn't have that bond with her. So it wasn't that hard to leave. And of course she would she would try to come back, and it's like I didn't understand that because I was 2 years younger than her, and she's 2 years older than me. She's advanced. She's already messed around with my brother. Why are you trying to come back? I don't know, but that messed me up. Now that look back on it, and a lot of people are like, "Well, there's nothing you can do about it," but I can. I can go back to being that kid because it felt good to do that for her. It felt good to make those CDs, and even like to this day, I think like if I'm involved with a female, like I'll send music, because I'm thinking about you when I'm listening to this music, and then in my next story, I'll discuss how that got damaged. But that's what I'm saying. Like I need to go back to that time, just being myself, buying those gifts, writing those love notes. I leave them like somewhere in the church for her to find. You know what I'm saying? But that's something that I do. Did I ever do it again? No. You know what I'm saying? Because I felt like it wasn't enough for her. So it's not enough. I'm not enough. And a lot of people can relate to that. You know what I mean? That whole deal of not being enough. Because when we cheat or we find someone else or we leave someone for someone else, something clicks in your head like, yeah, I'm not enough. And we need to change. And that's when I started to change. I think so, yeah. I started to change the way I dress. I started to change the way I act. I think I started to act out a little bit in the church. But I was just hurt. You know what I'm saying? And that's a lot of us that do that. But it's like now it's like I have the choice to you can change for the worse, you can change for the good. And now I'm choosing to change for the good because it's like if I wasn't enough for those people, and I can't blame them though, because they're just damaged, because they're not like that. They weren't born that way. They were just taught that. They were taught this behavior and they don't want to unlearn it, or they don't want to be by themselves long enough to see that they need to change. So they jump into the next relationship damaged, and then they show that person what they learned in their last relationship. And I think that's what she did to me. We were kids, but we're learning, especially as children, because that's when we're innocent. So maybe she got cheated on or left for someone else, and then she did that to me. I didn't know nothing about that. You see what I'm saying? But if she would have took the time and just looked at herself and like love herself, that goes back to the whole deal of loving yourself. Me too. If I would have just took that time and just like, well, she didn't appreciate me, somebody else will type deal. But I jumped into my next relationship at 15. I think I was at the end of 14, 15. I think during that time, that separation of not messing around with no females, that's when I started the rap. I started the music, the first story that I told. And I went through all that for a couple years. And then I found my next longest relationship that I've ever been in. Now, this relationship, this is with my kid's mother. And it started out kind of just like any normal. It was normal, you know what I'm saying? I wasn't into doing all that type of stuff because I never really did any of that for her. I never did the flowers. I never did the burned CDs, and she wasn't that type of girl either. I think at one time she would have been, but she was a very damaged individual. But I didn't catch on. I was my judgment was clouded, and I think that's a lot. That's what I'm saying. It has a lot to do with that because I would have noticed that she didn't even respect her own mother, you know, and that's something right there that I should have been like, man, she's damaged. You know, she doesn't even respect her mother. Why would I think that she's gonna respect me? And she didn't. I mean, one time, her and her mom were arguing, and I told her, like, just chill out, be quiet. And she punched the fuck out of me at like 15. And I didn't know nothing about that. And I just looked at her, and I think I cried or something like that. But, she felt bad afterwards. But, like, right there was my cue to get the fuck out. I should have left. I didn't know no better. I didn't know what she was doing. I didn't know where that come from. Where's that? What is that? But come to find out, she had learned that in her last relationship. And she never healed. She never went back to being the girl that she was before she went through all that with that other guy. So she brought that over here and showed me what she learned. But I didn't leave. I couldn't leave. I felt emotionally tied to her because we're having sex. The next red flag, and this is all before my kids were born. I would listen to, I don't know, I felt vulnerable. I don't know, I was watching a movie. It's called Xanadu. It's a musical, kind of like Grease. But I love this movie because I love music. I love emotion. I love all that. But I was watching it in my house, you know what I'm saying, or my apartment, on my TV, me just being me. And like she came in and she was like, "What are you watching, faggot? You're a girl because you like this type of stuff." And it's like right there, it's like, man, I'm not what she wanted. I'm not what you're looking for. But we couldn't leave each other because we're emotionally tied to each other. It's like we were married. We would tell him, we can't leave. I can't leave. Why? Because we're having sex with each other, and it clouds the judgment. It clouded my judgment, and I couldn't see those red flags for me. It's time to go, bro. She don't love you for you, because every time you trying to be you, she shuts that shit down. She's not. She don't love you. And so I stayed. We stay because we're having sex and we make it right. Oh, yeah. And then she had cheated on me with the dude that she was with before me. I had come back from California because I was in that second rap group, the rap group that I had formed with another artist before he had betrayed me. We went to California because there was this lady and she fed us this big dream. We were gonna be in magazines. We was gonna fucking do shows. Like we were gonna blow up. We got out there and it was nothing like that. So it's all good, man. We came back to Texas and we came out with a mixtape and it went hard and people really loved it. You know what I'm saying? I was still finding myself as far as the music industry and stuff, but I couldn't give her that attention that she wanted, I guess. I was going through my own thing. I was depressed, like bad, you know. And her birthday had rolled around. I went and saw her at her grandma's. I sat outside with her in the car, whatever. And then I went home. And so she went to her best friend's house. But the thing about that is her best friend's brother was her ex. And so I got the call the next morning crying. I cheated on him. And it was whatever, man. I was heartbroken. We didn't talk for a couple of days, and then she came and picked me up. Went back to her apartment. We did what married people do, and we swept it under the rug. And that shit ate at me every day. And I resented her. And I should have left and I should have healed from all that, like the physical, when she was physical with me, putting me down for being myself. Clearly, if someone can cheat on you, then you're not what they're looking for. They're looking for that person that they were with. You know what I'm saying? But I couldn't leave because it was hard because we were having sex. And in that moment, we are one. You're inside of a female. You're one, and it feels like in that 30 minutes, hour, however long, during that intercourse that this is my person. You start to learn their body, you start to be more vulnerable. But as soon as they cheat, what did they cheat for? Did they cheat for support? Did they cheat for a conversation? It's just sex. So they can't replace you as a person. They're just replacing the sex because that's all it is. And that's all it was between you two, because they wouldn't be willing to risk everything that y'all have built for just sex. But we do. I've done it. I've done it, man. You know what I mean? So, years later, I held on to all that resentment, not really speaking up for myself, not really being true to myself. So I was like comfortable in my misery. I love my children. I feel like that's why they're with me now. And I'm raising them by myself, with the help of family. But like as a parent, it's just me, you know. Um, but anyways, I went on and I got into my next relationship. It's messed up, bro. I got into my next relationship while still in the relationship with my kid's mother. And I went against the grain, bad. Bad, bad, bad. I ain't never cheated. I ain't never done nothing like that. I do not believe in it. And I went against myself major. You know what I'm saying? Around this time, a lot of stuff had messed with my head. I had got a big ego because who I was becoming. I was becoming T.Ace, like for real T.Ace. I had just lost all my weight. I was in a new city. Um, I was getting attention that I had never got before as a child, you know? Maybe, I was looking different and feeling different. I just come out with a movie. I just come out with a music video that uh, it went fucking crazy. I was working at the Toyota plant. People were coming up to me talking about my music video, One Wish. And they're like, yeah, I saw your music video. And I was like, how'd you see it? And they're like, they sent it out as a mass text. And that blew my mind. But it fed my ego. And here I go changing, not for the good, not staying myself. Now I'm losing myself bad, boy, bad. And so I'm having conversations with females, nothing too serious, whatever, kind of telling a little bit of lies here and there. And then I met this other female. And I was already tired. I was already tired of trying to cheat because it wasn't happening. I was tired of trying to cheat because it wasn't happening. And it's like, I don't know, man, that shit, it came and I was truthful. And she had asked me, she said, are you still with your kid's mother? And I said, yeah. And she said, that's good. The next day we were in the back seat. And I couldn't perform though, because it ain't in me. It was my first time. I was like, what the fuck is happening? And I was scared. You know what I'm saying? Call it what you want, but man, it's just not me. And I should have seen it right there. I had my chance right there. Leave it alone because this ain't you, man. And it ain't. It ain't. I only done it this one time and that was it. But it got crazy. But anyways, yeah, I jumped into that one and we ended up doing it. It ended up happening. And my judgment started to get clouded bad. There was even one time that I had told her, I asked her, I said, what are we doing? And she replied and she's all, well, I'm just having fun. And I said, because I'm falling for you. I'm falling in love with you. And if you don't feel the same way, then I'll leave. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just tell me what the deal is, whatever. But she was scared to be alone because she was hurt. She was damaged. That's what I'm saying. And she didn't take no time to herself. She had just got out of a 7-year relationship, engaged, and the man that she was with had left her for crack cocaine. And now that I have the experience of somebody choosing a substance over you, I can understand. But she went about it wrong, I don't blame her for nothing. She was just damaged. And she'd come and she would take from me. She came to me and she saw, because she had options. She had cheated too. But I'm not mad about nothing, man. It's, we were all just messed up. And she had choices to be with single men, but she knew my circumstance. But I think in her head, she would tell herself, well, he has a family and he's not going to give that up to be with me because I'm not worthy of it. So she just used me because she had later told me that another married woman in her family had told her, well, the best way to get over someone is to get under somebody. But I don't think that's true. Because now you're just messing up the next person. Because even if I was single and I wanted to make it work, she wouldn't have, because she was still waiting for her ex to come back. Because she later came out and told me I was always waiting for him to come back. Because she would always tell me, I can't be with you. I have to heal. I need to heal. And I didn't understand that because this was like my second girlfriend, like sexually. You know what I mean? Like third girlfriend, second sexually. But my judgment was clouded. She had clearly told me she was just having fun with me. She had clearly told me that she was waiting for the other dude to come back. But I stayed. Why? Because we're having sex. It's love. That's what I would tell myself, man. It's not. And she didn't love me either, man, because if she really looked at it, I'm a fucking cheater. That's what she saw. You're a fucking cheater, man. Look what you're doing with me every night. It went from once a week to the weekend to every day. I took her on trips, and I think in her head, like, if I was dumb enough to do it, she was going to take it. She didn't mean to, though. We don't mean for any of this stuff to happen. That's what I've come to the conclusion of. My kid's mother, the first girl that I was with, me and my actions, because this is not what I do. But I learned it by mixing myself with these people because they're damaged and I'm gaining their energy and I'm learning. And I need to unlearn it. We all need to unlearn everything that we've learned, but nobody wants to take the time because it's easier to just start talking to somebody else. It's easier just to get a new friend. It's easier just to start having sex with somebody else and act like all that stuff didn't happen and that we didn't play a part in it. But why did we play a part in it if we know that this isn't us? We have to look at the trauma that we've experienced and unlearn it. Find yourself again, love yourself, be yourself, because if you're being yourself and someone comes along and you're just being yourself, there's no sex involved, there's just chemistry because you're being yourself. And I love everything about you and everything that you do. You're a good mother, you're a good person, you love to draw, you want to act, you're going for acting, you're doing your music, you're doing your shows, you're doing it. And that's why I love you. So that relationship went down the drain. Even more, it got even more messed up. I went against myself in all types of ways, but I've made it right. I paid my debt to the universe. I've paid my debt to my children. I've paid my debt altogether. So I got into my next relationship. I think it was 2 years after that one, something like that. And this one was a very damaged relationship, alcohol and drugs, because I was drinking heavy, not being myself. I had learned a behavior that wasn't me. And I continued to do it. I felt, you know what I'm saying? It became an addiction. And so I met this girl, and we met at a party, and we just hit it off. She was drinking heavy. And if she was just being herself, I don't think she wasn't being herself. We weren't ourselves. We weren't who we were because at one time, we weren't born with fucking alcohol in our hands. We weren't born with drugs like attached to us. This is something that we learned, And if she was healed and being herself, she would have softened the gate. This guy is a fucking alcoholic. Why would I want to be with him? You know what I mean? We would see the red flags. And then I would have seen the same thing because she would go and she would fall back into her harsh addiction, narcotics. And the red flags were always there. But I stayed because we're one. We're having sex. It clouds the judgment. Things got real abusive on both ends. This isn't me. I've never done this before. I would tell her, this isn't me. But this is something that she had been through in all her relationships. And then she wasn't a healed person. She had a very traumatic childhood to teenage years. And it's not her fault. But she'll never know that if she doesn't take the time to herself and tell herself just to be herself, because at one time she was a good mom. At one time she was a good wife. At one time, one person was enough. But we learned some fucked up shit along the way, and we think that that's the way it's supposed to be, and it's not. But a lot of us don't want to take the time. Like, I think it's been a little over a month that I haven't been sexually active. I haven't had conversations with no female because I've already lived that life. I haven't gone out to no bars. And I'm in no way trying to boast or brag. But this feels a whole lot better, me being myself and finding myself, than that lifestyle that I've already lived. I've done it all. I've had the drugs. I've sold the drugs. I've had the liquor. I've had the models. I've been out there. I've been on top. I've been at the shows. I've seen it all. And if it don't feel good, why would I still pursue it? Because I'm hurt? Because I'm damaged? Because this is what I've learned and I'm going to stick with it? No, I'm going to be true to myself. I need to find myself. And it's like I barely had learned that because even in my last relationship, I started to do things to her and tell her that she was a certain way because of the music she listened to. But I don't think it was her, she would be listening to a song about cheating. I got one coming over and one right now. And she would sing her heart out with that. And I'm like, man, you're a cheater because you love that shit. But that wasn't me. That's my trauma coming up. And it would trigger her. And I think she would feel some type of way like she wasn't enough. But I don't think that that's her because you're not a cheater. You were just taught that because you were constantly cheated on. So, do you believe in it or is it just a catchy song? You know what I'm saying? And it's all really messed up, but it's all just trauma. This is behavior that we've learned and don't want to unlearn it. And every day I just reflect on this trauma. Like the other day, I had a buddy send me a song, Russ, Working on Me. I think it's out right now with Black, featuring Six Lack Black. And in the song he talks about, it sounds like he's talking to, his partner, and he's saying like, don't leave my side while I'm working on myself, please. But if you do leave, I understand. And then I listened to it, I kept on going about my day. And then my sister sent it to me. And she's like, have you heard this? And I was just like, man, because it felt like, because how I do, I talk through music. I'll sing songs. So it felt like my ex was reaching me through that song. Because like she lives a very traumatic life, involved in some very heavy narcotics, and she would say that she just needed my help. But I think at some point it turns into manipulation. And she just learned that because she was easy to manipulate. I never manipulated her though, but she couldn't tell the difference because her husband showed her that. Her husband had showed her that love was manipulation. And she would fall for it because he knew how to talk to her. He knew what to say, and she would fall for it. And then I think I became her, and she would tell me things, and I would fall for it. And that becomes the energy transfer during sex. That's how I put it together. You can judge it how you want, whatever. All sex is just sex, whatever. Stop having sex with that person and see if you really love them still. See if you're so crazy about them. See if you really want to be with each other. Stop having sex. I even had a buddy, I asked him because he's real heartbroken over his ex. And then I asked him, who is she? What makes her happy? Well, I don't know, bro. I said, exactly, bro. But the red flags were always there, right? But our judgment's clouded because we're already having sex with each other. He had gotten with that female, and I think a month later, her friend had told her that her ex was already in another relationship, and it broke her heart. Even in my last relationship, I was walking my ex home, and she called her sister crying about the dude that she was seeing right before me. You're not over him. You need to take some time to yourself or either go work that out before you come over here and you fuck me up. Because I think that we're going to be something when you're clearly not over that other guy. But it wasn't nothing that she says. But you're here and you're disgruntled about it. But my judgment's clouded because we're having sex. You know what I mean? That's how I say. Stop having sex with them and see if they still love you. And if they're so quick to move on, what are they replacing? Well, I don't love this guy. I'm just having sex with him. So then that's all it was with me too. But we can't get mad at it because these are just damaged people. We are all damaged. We're all hurt. And nobody wants to take the time to be alone. And it's not even about being alone because, shoot, I'm finding myself every day. And I'm a lot happier than I've been since I was 12 years old. And that's nobody's fault but my own. Even social media, the phones, it all makes it easier to be distracted from doing the work on ourselves because it's in the palm of your hand. You can just post a picture on Facebook and everybody's going to tell you how beautiful you are, but you're making some face that ain't your face. You're changing yourself to be accepted. But post a picture of your artwork. Post a picture of your work and see how many likes you get because those are your real fans. Not these guys and girls that see you from the outside or they see and they like the way you do your duck face. They don't love you for you, and it's going to die out sooner or later. It doesn't last. We're all talented. We all got dreams. We all have goals, but we're all distracted because we're traumatized. And it's all about the trauma. But if you can sit and reflect on it, like I said, it's only been a month for me. And I feel better. because it's what feels right. Just being myself. That's what I'm saying. If we all could just be ourselves, man, try it. Try it. Get off social media for a month, for a week. Get away from all the distractions. I think a lot of people are in a lot of relationships now just because you're having sex with that person. You don't know them. You don't know what makes them happy. Who are they? Who are you? And that goes back to the saying, love yourself so someone can love you. That's why I say these people that I was with, they didn't love me for me because I wasn't being me. It was destroyed. Me was destroyed at 12 years old. And then I got in the next relationship trying to be something that I wasn't. And that's who she stuck with. I just took care of her, and that's why she loved me. Because when I tried to be myself, she didn't like it. She was always looking for the other guy in me. When I got into my third relationship, I was being a cheater. That's not who I am, and then that's who she was with. So that's who she's going to remember me as. When I got into my last relationship, I was an alcoholic. That's not me. I didn't drink for 27 years. I work, and if one job's not enough, I'll get another one. I've gotten 3 jobs because that's who I am. Who are we? Who are you? Be yourself. Find yourself. It's just trauma. It's not you. This is something that we've learned. These behaviors are behaviors that we've learned, and we need to unlearn them so we can find ourselves, be ourselves, and the world will be so much greater. You'll be with that person. You'll be with your person. We're all looking for our person, but because the last person we were with didn't accept us, we tell ourselves we need to change. And so this new person sees this new person that isn't us, and it's hard to keep up with that. Because when I got in my last relationship, we would go out, we'd go to the bars, we'd go party. But I'm like, this isn't me. And I started to try to get back to who I was, working 2 jobs. It became a problem. Well, you don't have time for me. So I'm going to go out and party by myself with my other friends, with other guys. But she'd only learned that from something that happened to her in the past. And she never took the time to find herself. Who are you? Because at one time, we knew who we were. At one time, we weren't born this way. Who are you? Who are we? Be yourself. Find yourself, and you'll find happiness. Because I'm barely finding it. And it's just from being myself. It's not from being sexually active. It's not from taking shots and getting drunk, from smoking weed or selling weed. It's not from any of that. It's from being a father to my kids, going to work, being a creator. I'm a writer. I had to put that together. Well, I like making music. I like doing film. I'm a creator, yeah. But the one thing that they all have in common, even this right here, I'm a writer. But I would never know that if I was already having been distracted by social media and other women, or even in another relationship, showing that new woman what I learned in my last relationship. And I do not want to show anybody that. It's not me. I need to be myself. I think we all need to find ourselves and be yourself. Because if you're being yourself and someone comes along, I'm being myself and this person sees it. This is my person. So on that note, I'm going to go ahead and close it out. And I want to let everybody know, just try your best every day to reflect on the trauma that you experience. But during that reflection, find yourself. Put the drugs, put the alcohol, put the sex down, put it all down. Because it's not you. At one point, one person was enough. At one point, being a wife was enough. At one point, being a husband was enough. We just lost ourselves along the way, trying to conform to society, trying to fit in, trying to be accepted, trying to have fun is what they call it. Find yourself, be yourself, and you'll find happiness.
I'm gonna call this one Heal Me.
You spend nights in the club and you be around people. You tired of taking drugs, tired of feeling evil. You let these men touch you, said you tired of being single. Said you wanna be submissive cause you tired of feeling equal. You want something different, maybe come and raise some kids with me. Tired of that small town mentality, you want some vitality. Relationships fatality, you see me go for mine and you say that you proud of me. You wanna know how I got so much drive. All the heartbreaks, all the wasted time. It's all about where you set your mind.